Enter a fantastical world of imagination, friendship, adventure, and romance. A world of magic hats and hot air balloons. A world where everyday people dance among the stars. Enter the world of network promos. Battle of the Network shows. Join Rick Brooks and Mike Kogel as they explore the TV of the 70s and 80s through hand-picked episodes of their favorite and not-so-favorite series.
Welcome to another Battle of the Network shows. I'm Mike.
And I'm Rick. Hello, everyone.
And today we're not doing an episode of a show, but in a way we are living up to the title of our show.
That's true.
By covering all three networks.
Yes, all three. We're going back to, our era. There were basically three main networks, and that was it.
Yeah.
And they were competing with each other.
Yes. And one of the ways they competed with each other was elaborate promotional campaigns at the beginning of the season.
Yes. Now, to me, this is one of the biggest things that television is missing these days. And last night, Lori and I were discussing... I made the comment that, this is why television's not as good, because they don't have these promos
right.
that we're going to talk about today. And she said, well, to be fair, though, we're not really watching it. And I said, aha, but if they had these promos, perhaps I would be watching more network television.
I can't even think of a network slogan right now, other than the CW, Dare to Defy.
Oh, yeah. And, right, that's kind of...
Or like HBO, but
yeah,
the three big ones, I don't know.
I think network branding... In a time where it seems like it would be more critical than ever to distinguish from all the different streaming options and the multiple cable channels, it seems to me like the network branding is weaker than it has ever been. Yeah. When we grew up watching television in the era that we cover on the podcast here, networks had their distinct identities, or at least they tried to make you think they did. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways they did it was with these promo campaigns. But it still seemed to me like growing up that, like, okay, ABC had this identity. I thought of NBC this and CBS this, but now, I guess they have certain types of shows, but I don't see that network promotional as the network as a thing.
Right. And it seems to depend on the night, too. I mean, CBS, to me, is the most maybe easy to identify.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that a little bit before. I think that, just sort of solid dramas and like procedurals and sort of multi-camera sitcoms.
Yeah.
And 60 Minutes.
Right.
But NBC, it depends on the night and their mood. I mean, they have Chicago night.
Yeah.
And ABC has their Shonda Rhimes night. And
yeah, and I think a lot of this, the things that might tempt you to say, well, they've got an identity because they've got all these Dick Wolf shows. I think it's mainly not so much that they're branding themselves under that, as that they just happen to find a good idea and they keep desperately trying to add more to it because they've got like a franchise.
Yeah.
And it fills more hours.
I like that the idea is, well, if you just put a word after Chicago, there's your premise.
Right.
Chicago dogs.
Yeah. Well, they used to have the Chicago Teddy Bears, was I think a Gary Marshall sitcom in the late 70s that we might get into someday here.
But is it the Belushi one? No.
I think it had. I think Nancy Walker.
Oh, okay.
Was on that one. But I think it's pretty rare. So
wonder why.
Yeah.
But back then, there was. I can't quite pinpoint what those identities are anymore, despite what we've talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, as we're going to get into, the ABC identity that they were pushing was that they were number one. Yeah. Which they were.
Right. And
they're all pushing a sort of way of persuading you into their world.
Yeah. I think in retrospect, it's always kind of tough to think. It's always easier to sort of come up with these identities in retrospect, because you have perspective, and you can look back and say, oh, well, they were this. Although, again, like CBS, like some of the CBS ones we're looking at, like I think even then you could look at like, okay, they seem kind of like behind the times a little bit almost. Yeah. NBC does seem a little bit fresher and things like that.
Right.
I think beyond like the promos, like when I was growing up, I was kind of an NBC guy. And for me, a lot of it was like sports, because I like sports and I happen to like NBC sports. And sometimes some of these promos do integrate like the sporting department. Sometimes they don't. But to me, that was kind of the thing. And so I'd be exposed to like a lot of their ads through that, or Saturday morning, which is something we didn't really focus on here. But sometimes the branding would would match, what was going on the primetime end of it. But it all kind of tied together. But, growing up, I think maybe we've talked about this before. We talked about Battle of the Network shows, but I was kind of an NBC guy. And, looking back, I think it seems like NBC is what I associate with the 80s, ABC the 70s, maybe kind of into the early 80s, and CBS just maybe 60s into the early 70s.
I was going to say the 1920s.
Yeah.
Of course, they're the Tiffany network.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. But it seems like their identity, even in the 80s, is not that different than what it is now.
No. It doesn't seem to me...
it works.
It doesn't seem to me like there's a strong promotional thing there. I mean, I guess for many years they were just like, well, we're the number one network because we're the Tiffany network, and if you want to watch good shows, come to us. And
right.
But it didn't seem like they put a lot of effort into it, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it. In the 70s they had the sort of sophisticated sitcoms, but in the 80s they really didn't, that I can remember.
No.
And NBC, we've talked about way too much, but the being in third place, so taking all sorts of chances on good things and terrible things.
Yeah.
So kind of eclectic, I guess.
Right. Well, and we can kind of look into like the NBC stuff, and I think one of the ones we sort of focus on sort of straddles a little bit of like NBC like on the cusp, and then NBC like, okay, NBC has arrived, but really it seems like looking back, it's like, well, basically it's Cosby Show.
Yeah.
and then that helped, that kind of the rising tide lifts all boats or whatever. It seems like maybe that's kind of what happened. I don't know but it does seem like, well, at least there was some strategy to, Brendan Tartikoff came and NBC kind of rose up behind with the strength of the Cosby Show. But you can also see as you go back through these promos, well, they were also developing new shows, like you said, developing new things, and some of them hit.
Yes, Mr. Smith.
Yeah,
Misfits of Science.
Yes. Well, there was that one year. There's one where they show all these new shows, and like I think in 1983, I think they debuted like maybe 9 or 10 shows, and all of them failed.
Oh.
I think they might have had a couple of mid-season shows, and maybe bloopers came on at the time. But yeah, Mr. Smith, Manimal, Misfits of Science. So everything wasn't gold. It was definitely an interesting transition era. Yeah. Because I think we've talked before about shows like Give Me a Break, which was sort of something that was big on NBC at the time, but it sort of straddles that area. It's kind of a holdover from the dregs of NBC, but it actually sort of went into this Cosby Show era too.
Yeah. Yeah, like The Facts of Life.
Yeah, that's another great example, yeah.
So how do we want to do these chronologically or by coolest?
Well,
alphabetically.
Why don't we go alphabetically?
Okay.
I think it's sort of Let's save NBC for the big finale, and we can kind of touch on some other things.
So ABC, as we said, was number one, and think about some of the shows they had. So we looked at clips from 77 and 79. Yeah. Well, the 79 is the more we're going to focus on. But
yeah, they had this campaign was fairly consistent for several years, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. So some of their shows during this period included The Love Boat and Fantasy Island and Three's Company and Happy Days.
Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah. Barney Miller, Taxi.
And
Soap.
And again, Battle of the Network Stars.
Yeah.
These weren't all like major blockbusters at the time, but they're well-remembered shows like, Barney Miller and Soap, just looking back, ABC looks almost even better in hindsight. You might not think so much of a show like Three's Company, but it was a really popular show. And sometimes, I mean, they had their share of like junk on the air too. Yeah. Charlie's Angels. I, just said out of nowhere, not in any way related to the junk comment, but Charlie's Angels was a big hit for a couple of years. They had, so they had a lot going on.
Right. And I think when we did Battle of the Network Stars, we talked about that, like looked at what was on these different networks, and pretty much, with the exception of Angie, everything on the ABC list is like stuff you remember.
Yeah. Show with some kind of legacy.
NBC was all Gemini Man and
I mean,
weird stuff.
It's funny because again, like even the shows that in retrospect maybe weren't as popular as you would think they were, something like the $6 Million Man, or the Bionic Woman and the $6 Million Man.
Yeah.
Well, they're iconic shows. I think it's fair to say, even if they weren't like huge hits, $6 Million Man was a pretty big hit for a while, but they endure.
Right. So for this campaign, the slogan was "Still the One," and they adapted the song "Still the One" by the band Orleans.
Yes, which you've heard probably many, many times, and in many other advertising campaigns probably too.
Probably.
I think a certain big hamburger chain used it for a while.
Oh, Infamous maybe for one of their album covers.
I believe so. Yes,
which hopefully we'll include in the show notes.
Yes.
But,
well, yes, we will. The 1970s had a lot of interesting album covers. Let's just say.
Yeah, and thank God they don't appear in these promos though.
No, I guess they,
because I think that like their mustaches and stuff would be like pushing beyond the Doobie Brothers level of affecting the baddies.
Right. Yeah, we'd have a real runaway on our hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, they decided to use cover versions.
Right. Done in a very sort of 60s and 70s generic style of choruses and just the production qualities are very much advertising music again.
I like the idea that the recorded hit version of "Still the One" was too threatening and too rock and roll for a general audience.
Right.
So they had to do another version.
Like bring in Ray Conniff or something.
Yeah. To do a more palatable version for the masses.
Right.
And now I think about it, it's supposed to be New Orleans, right? Instead of New Orleans. But yet it seems totally weird to call the band Orleans.
No, I wouldn't call them
Orleans. Or Orland.
Yeah. I believe if you're from New Orleans, you generally pronounce it like that.
Yeah.
And people from outside it say New Orleans.
Okay.
But I think there's an exception. If it's in a song, you can say it as Orleans.
Okay, well that's
maybe a band name. It's the same thing.
Yeah, like the train they call the
and some people, of course, it's New Orleans.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if anyone real actually says that.
Is that even why the band is called that? I mean, for all I know,
I know very little about this band. And
as
I
long
intend
as it's
to keep
not,
it that way.
Yeah.
Right, maybe they're named after France, the city in France.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
Very European, continental kind of flair to them.
Right. I mean, if this song is a good example of their music, it certainly doesn't scream New Orleans to
No,
you.
it doesn't. That, and they did Dance With Me. You remember that one, Mike? I want to be your partner, can't you see? The music is just starting.
Boy, all of this somehow fits right in with that terrible album cover.
Yeah, it does. But ABC was on top of the world.
Yeah.
And I guess they were proud and proclaiming it.
Yeah.
By saying they were still the one, number one.
Yeah. And so some of these promos they're like really long.
Yeah. I think a lot of these, and you can see these on YouTube and the internet, which is great. I think a lot of them were not necessarily shown on TV, but you'd see the full versions would be shown to affiliates or something like at various presentations, or maybe, and then they'd cut them down. You'd see 30-second promo spots when you would actually be watching TV. Or sometimes I think they would use them as filler, who knows if they had extra time. And I think back then things weren't quite as regimented as they were now. Where 3 minutes of airtime is super valuable, and maybe you could squeeze it in during halftime of a football game or something.
Right.
You could show something like this during Monday Night Football, maybe
right before the end of the night.
Yeah, something like that at the end of or late night would be a good time.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, after whatever they were, the ABC late night movie or whatever they were trying to run up against Johnny Carson.
Yeah. So the one from '77 starts with a bunch of old clips, their whole history.
Yeah.
All sorts of things. And
Batman and
some other shows.
Yeah, well, and the funny and the thing, McHale's Navy, I think, is another one. And it's it's something that I love about promos. I love promos of people that show people watching TV. So you're watching people watching TV. So instead of getting this great footage of it, they have grainy footage that sort of exposes that it's old.
Right.
So it doesn't look all that great technically, but it's it's TV, I guess. And then you see shots of people watching old, TV. It's I like it, but it doesn't seem all that great technically to me.
And then you get a bunch of mostly people in New York, I think, or maybe it's a lot of cities, but New York is the one that stood out to me. Just kind of regular folks giving thumbs up to the camera.
Yeah.
And this goes on for 5-6 minutes.
Well.
There's a song, though. The song is the important part.
Of course, they're elites in New York and San Francisco. The regular folks would be in Iowa, which they are conspicuously left out of this promo.
But they're regular folks in New York.
Yeah.
Hot dog vendors and cops.
That's true.
Not your Wall Street elites and your academic elites.
Right. Okay. Well, yes, that's a good point.
You know, there's probably a guy on a trolley in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Somebody eating rice-a-roni.
Yeah. But
that's, you know, people just everywhere you go on the street there.
Is that so?
People just have rice-a-roni.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's the San Francisco treat.
At any given time. You see
Vending machines of rice-a-roni.
Well, it is very easy to make, you know.
Yeah.
So I can see that. It's delightful.
That's right. You open the bag and you pour some water in.
Yeah. Is that all it is to it?
I don't know. But I did my best to transcribe the lyrics to this. I can recite them if.
Oh, please do.
Hopefully this won't get us in trouble. But we've been together since way back when, and this year's going to be a winner again. Mm. And we want you to know, after all is said, we're still the one you can turn to for a friend.
Oh.
Still the one you can turn to and cheer. Still the one that likes you near. You're still having fun, and we're still the one.
True.
Came into your home every day and made us feel welcome and you made us feel welcome to stay. As the seasons change, we found warmth in your heart. With each special year and each brand new start. Still the one that takes you away. Still the one that makes you play. Maybe I didn't understand that one.
Okay, well.
You're still having fun, and we're still the one. Still the one that sings your song. Still the one you want to take along. You're still having fun, and we're still the one. Then there's the bridge.
Yeah.
Like this sort of, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's definitely a mood change in the song. This sort of soaring, interesting thing. And I had trouble with the words here a little bit too, but turning the worlds within your view, though other things can change, we stay new.
That's interesting.
I don't know.
The other things can change, we stay new.
The we stay new, that's definitely the part I wasn't. Still the one with something new. Still the one that's going to see you through. You're still having fun, and we're still the one. Still the one who can make you smile. Still the one that fits your style. You're still having fun, and we're still the one. We're still the one, and we plan to be. Still the one you'd like to see. You're still having fun, and we're still the one.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah. Well,
I want to go watch some ABC right now. I feel really a bond.
Yeah. So what I find interesting here in this version and the second version that we'll talk about is the way they're making it about the viewer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's all you know, and this idea of ABC being the audience's friend.
Yeah.
They're there to have fun with.
Right. They're always there.
Right. And they're number one because of them.
Yeah.
Which so they're saying thank you by giving people more of what they want.
In tumultuous times, too.
Yeah.
This is, the late 70s and, after Watergate and everything, a lot going on.
That's right. Though other things can change, we stay new.
Now, I'm a little confused by that. Is that like Pearl Jam said that, I changed by not changing at all? Is that kind of the thing? Or am I missing something?
Right. They're constant. The ABC is constant in their newness.
They always have something fresh for you to watch.
Yes.
Every year they bring the best of new programming.
So they're both consistent and changing at the same time.
That's quite a feat.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can pull that off, good for you. Okay, I'll buy that.
Yeah, so, I don't know what else to say about that version of it.
Yeah. But not the official lyrics of the song.
No.
It would be a little bit creepy if these mustachioed guys sang about coming into your home and, you made us feel welcome.
And more,
it would take a whole different meaning.
Yeah, I guess I should look up
Yeah.
We won't recite those here, but I guess I should look at those up to see.
But like you said, though, it's kind of like TV being a personal, intimate medium. It comes right into your home, and ABC is definitely embracing that in this campaign.
It breaks into your house.
Yeah.
It's almost like, that could fit today, like TV just coming into your, like with the, Alexas and Siris and everything.
Yeah.
We're here.
Right
now.
Yeah.
You invited us in and we're staying.
Yeah. Well, see, that's a little alarming the way you said it just now. But if they said it to the tune of a popular 1970s soft rock song, then I'd be like, oh, cool.
And
now I get it.
Amazon does that with their Christmas campaigns. They have their boxes singing like the 70s tunes, right?
That's right, yeah.
So maybe they learned a thing.
Yeah.
See, they do a big promo every year, that big Christmas campaign. That's 2 or 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You don't see anybody else. Sizzle reels. Sizzle reels aren't the same thing.
No.
This is a different thing.
No, we're talking about like a cohesive theme with an easily remembered slogan.
Yeah.
Preferably with music to it.
Yeah. And you know what? We're making fun of Orleans, but it's a darn catchy song.
It sure is, yeah.
And it's competing in this episode we're doing with some other catchy songs.
Right.
So, and holding its own, I got to say.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah. So we move on to 1979.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really
This is the main event, yeah.
Yeah. It kind of, it begins with some slow singing, but also these very aerial shots of America.
Yeah.
Coastlines and mountains and
landmarks.
Farms and landmarks, yeah.
Yes.
And then you start to see various families, watching TV and then suddenly getting up from watching TV, running out the door.
Right. ABC is so compelling that they leave it at the drop of a hat.
Right.
and
they seem to be like going to picnics and things.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if they're closing the doors behind them. They're just leaving quickly. They don't want to miss anything, I guess.
Yeah. And eventually we see where they're going, which is like it's a field and a bunch of ABC stars are there.
Yes, it's paradise.
Yeah. It's field day with ABC.
Yeah.
Just trying to think just some of the Robert Guillaume and
Hal Linden
and some of the 80s enough people.
The Boz. Tom Bosley, I think he's actually got a picnic blanket spread out, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he also pitches a softball to Lou Gossett Jr.
Yeah.
And somebody swings and strikes.
Yeah.
Doris Roberts is there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of the other Happy Days people. It's a scene.
Yeah.
And then eventually everybody gets into hot air balloons and flies away.
Yeah, they do. We don't know where they're going.
No.
We don't know when they'll be coming back or if.
But they're going to Oz.
Yeah. And they're all like mixed in. You'd think it's maybe just the 80s enough people, but no, they mix them in. And I think some of these civilians are mixed in too. Because like the kids with the Cincinnati Reds baseball cap.
Oh, yeah.
See, Cincinnati was a big team in the 1970s.
That's right.
But it also suggests kind of heartland too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, at least not like East or West Coast. So
it's the Midwest.
And I think Hal Linden actually puts that kid into a balloon, doesn't he?
Yes. Forcibly. No.
Yeah. So I guess the idea is you take your family there, and the ABC stars will load your kids into balloons
and take them away.
Yeah. It could be some elaborate black market adoption ring.
Right. And do you think everybody was getting in real balloons and actually flying?
It certainly looks like it.
It does, and it seems like a giant insurance risk.
It really does, yeah. I don't see a lot of safety precautions being taken. I mean, I'm sure they had something going on, but for all we know, it doesn't look like there's any operator in the balloon, because all you see are shots of like, these ABC stars. Like when Hal Linden's putting that kid in the balloon, you get the impression that Hal Linden is actually the balloon operator.
I'm sure there's at least an operator behind.
I hope so.
No, I would like to see shots of some of the stars like pulling the thing that makes the fire come on, igniter or whatever.
And Tom Bosley brings a dog in there, and it really seems like there was no reason to bring a dog up into one of those things.
It's a tiny dog.
Yeah, and it's not even like I don't know if the dog was in the ABC lineup or. I mean, it wasn't Benji.
It wasn't Benji.
Benji wasn't having any of that.
No.
Benji was like the one big star they couldn't get to do this.
Yeah. Actually, there are quite a few that aren't there.
Well, yeah.
Although
maybe
we
some
saw
of the smaller
others,
ones, I think, are not there.
Are any Love Boat people there?
Oh, good question. I don't remember that. I do. One interesting thing, I think Laverne and Shirley are there, but in different balloons. I don't know if I saw a shot of the two of them in the same balloon. So even then, they couldn't bear to be in the same balloon together, one would think.
And one of the other versions, Louis De Palma, not Danny DeVito, but it's Louis De Palma. He's in one that's clearly fake,
right?
But like by the sign of the taxi place,
the Sunshine Cab Company,
Cab, But everybody's waving, giving thumbs up.
Yeah,
your favorite? I'll let you.
I think that Henry Winkler one's the best.
Yeah, like
Henry Winkler in full beard mode.
Yeah.
Which I assumed, but he will give a double like thumbs up, like then a single thumbs up, and then an affectionate wave in one version.
Yeah,
but he actually looks genuinely happy to be there.
He does, yeah.
I mean, he's just like I don't know. Maybe it's a cliche at this point. Is he ever not happy to be anywhere?
I don't know.
Or does he? If he's not happy, he's doing a great job of acting like he's glad to be doing his part for ABC.
Yeah, but this version has all new lyrics. You think they could have just kept the lyrics from
Yeah,
Like a whole new recording and everything.
To their credit, yeah. They revised the song.
Yeah. You found the place where your friends will be.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we hope you'll be watching ABC. And we want you to know that this year again, ABC is the one you can look to for a friend.
Yeah, that friendship theme again.
Yeah. We're still the one from LA to New York. Still the one for Angie and Mark. You're still having fun, 'cause we're still the one.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much to be watched, with old friends and new. Every night something special is waiting for you.
Mm.
And we hope you will find, in the time you spend, we're still the one you can turn to for a friend. We're still the one where the Ropers return. Still the one for Shirley and Laverne.
Brilliant.
You're still having fun, 'cause we're still the one. Then we get into the bridge part again. When all is said and done, it's true, we became one thanks to you. We're still the one where the love boat sails. Still the one that never fails. You're still having fun, 'cause we're still the one. We're still the one for those happy days. Still the one in so many ways.
Mm.
You're still having fun, 'cause we're still the one. We're still the one, we're really alive. I'm not sure that's correct. Still the one as the 80s arrive. You're still having fun.
Timely.
'Cause we're still the one.
Yeah. That friendship theme is there, but
Mm-hmm.
is it just me, or I detect a little bit more aggression in this one?
Yeah.
The repetition of the reason you're having fun is because we're still the one. It's
Right.
kind of like, being a little assertive about it.
Yeah.
Granted, they're being thankful. And the thing about the one that never fails, that's a little strong.
Yeah, they're getting a little cocky.
Yeah, they are, definitely. Yeah. I think that stands out to me in that version.
I mean, they are saying thank you, like we're number one because of you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're having fun because of us.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle.
That's right. It's really a lot of codependency here.
Yeah.
Maybe more than is healthy for the TV network and its audience. Yeah. And I just realized Welcome Back, Kotter was ABC, was it not? I don't think. Where's Gabe Kaplan in any of these?
I don't think he's in any of them.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah. He wasn't going to have... He just couldn't put up with that nonsense.
Yeah. They did have, Mr. Rourke and Tattoo.
Yeah.
Earn Like a Balloon together.
Oh, that's right.
Norman Fell.
Yeah.
They have John Ritter and Joyce DeWitt from Three's Company.
Yeah. John Ritter falls out of the balloon and hangs from... Yeah.
Sadly, no, but it's something else. Yeah, this just... and then... Some of the other versions, if you watch like the cut down versions, pretty much just emphasize the balloons and get rid of those pesky civilians.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of surreal to see all these like balloons going up and ABC stars waving at. Yeah. Who knows who they're waving at? I guess they're waving at us, but
I guess so.
They're waving goodbye to their loved ones. It's like a dark version of the disembarking scenes at the beginning of the Love Boat, where everybody waves to the people on shore.
Off to the stratosphere.
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool, too, if they were, like, involved in some kind of, like, wild balloon race.
Yeah.
Like, if this was a competition. And in the late 70s, you could see that being a thing where there'd be a made-for-TV balloon race. The Great Balloon Race on ABC.
With your announcer, Jim McKay. Team Happy Days.
Yeah.
Gotten lost over the Rockies. Would you ever go in a hot air balloon?
Well, with Norman Fell, I would. If Hal Linden threw me in a balloon, I probably would.
Yeah.
It would depend if I had a chance to go up in a hot air balloon with, say Robert Guillaume or Jacqueline Smith, or, yeah, sure.
Okay.
But I'd be a little bit more careful about it than these people in these ads seem.
I mean, I've never been around one, so I don't know. To me, it seems a little scary. Yeah, it seems scary but peaceful, like an interesting way to fly. But you are just in a basket.
Well, yeah, that's true. You're pretty vulnerable up there.
Yeah,
I'm not real big on heights.
Me neither.
Except for the great heights that ABC achieved in the late 70s.
Well,
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
But as far as being up there in a balloon, I'd have to have. It would take a lot of ABC star power to keep me calm, I think, in that situation.
Yeah, maybe Bernie Capel.
Yeah, he'd probably be enough.
Skills.
I'd like at least him to bring along a guest star or somebody.
Yeah, Ron Glass.
Yeah, Ron Glass. Cool. Yeah, I think Ron
his
Glass
character was cool.
He'd be pretty good. Yeah.
So, one version we saw too. They had some of the balloon stuff, but it was like 3 minutes of Ernie Anderson rattling off the name of almost every actor and news presenter and sports presenter on ABC.
Yes.
It was awesome.
With a musical beat like the whole time that made it almost sound like he was rapping.
Yes. and the best one when he said John Forsythe, and they just showed a picture of the Charlie's Angels speaker.
Yes. That was classic. That was great. And again, they kind of, I'd love to know what the order was, if they actually like sat down and had some kind of like giant IBM computer spit out an algorithm that told them like, because they didn't just say Howard Cosell, Frank Gifford, Don Meredith, they like spaced them out.
Right.
And like all the sports guys, they would space them out. They wouldn't have people from the same show necessarily back to back.
Yeah.
DVP was in there though.
Yeah. Was a lot of maybe heavy duty negotiation.
Probably, yeah.
It's like a working out a wedding.
Yeah.
Reception.
Yeah. I wonder how they determined who got into those balloons with each other, or if they was just first come, first serve, or
right.
Because I think Hal Linden was with the actress who played Susan on the 8 is Enough, maybe. Yeah, I'll bet there was a lot of. But maybe there wasn't a lot of politicking. Maybe they were just all genuinely glad to be there.
Yeah.
In this on field day.
I do wish they had maybe gotten involved in some field day games too.
Yeah, we know that Happy Days had the famous softball team. Mm-hmm. So it's not a big stretch. I mean, we see Mr. C with kind of a wicked sidearm delivery.
The Boz special.
Yeah. Unhittable.
But maybe a little push ball or something.
Yeah, that'd be good. Push ball.
Yeah, and briefly, too, the one from 1980 is they don't use the Still the One. They use a different slogan, which I already forgot. But
it's You and Me.
You and Me, that's right.
Yeah. And a far inferior song.
Yeah.
I think it's an original song, I guess.
Well, I mean, I admire them for doing that. But, and the general gist of that promo is there's a little small town America. Mm-hmm. It looks a lot like a backlot, but small town America. And then this motorcade shows up with a limo. It seems like only one limo, but there's a police escort. Yeah. And then ABC stars just start piling out of this limo.
Yeah, what a limo ride that must have been.
And then they break out a bunch of paint cans, and they paint that slogan on the wall of one of the buildings. Yeah. So they just come to town and deface a building.
Take that, Banksy.
But
they're clearly much better.
They're doing a good job of looking like they're having fun doing grunt work.
Even though they're apparently not still the one.
Right.
But they're still having fun.
Yeah.
Even though they're doing manual labor.
And John Ritter does do some physical comedy. And
yeah, he does. He almost
some
falls
paint on someone.
Almost plummets to his doom from high up in the building. There's a lot of Missy Gold from Benson, I think, in that one, interacting with the other stars. Like Ricardo Montalban, I think, is. Yeah. There's some charming interactions with those two, and
he went to paint in a sweater. That seems like a bad idea.
Well, he probably knew what he was doing. Yeah. I mean, he was pretty stylish, as we know.
Yes.
But and the bearded Henry Winkler shows up in that one again too. I thought at first that it was for a movie role, but it seems like maybe that was his off-season beard. He would just grow that and then shave it for Happy Days.
Grows a fast beard.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. Not as good as the Still the One campaign. But
I think the star power is a little less too. I mean, you've got a guy from It's a Living, the cast of Too Close for Comfort, or some of them in there.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 shows that ended up first run syndication.
Yeah, 2 shows that couldn't hack it on ABC.
And the very first celebrity you see is the great Robert Mandan.
Yes. You think that was the result of some high-powered negotiations?
Yes, I do. I'll come to this thing, but stepping out of that limo first.
Yes.
And he's in a suit or something.
Yeah, not good painting togs.
No. But I like that the ABC ones have these gathering of stars. Mm-hmm. The NBC and CBS don't really do that. Yeah,
it's cool. It gives you the illusion that they're a family.
Yeah.
And invites you into it. I love anything that suggests that these stars actually are there on set together and actually doing this and enjoying themselves.
Aren't they the ones that also had the one where people are sitting across from each other and singing the song?
Oh.
Sort of in a mirrored room or something.
Oh.
I remember Ron Howard being in that.
Oh, wow.
A bearded Ron Howard.
Wow. Oh, we'll have to check that one out.
But I guess we should move on to CBS.
Yeah, let's move on to CBS. This CBS one just didn't impress me very much, Mike. Did you transcribe the lyrics to this one?
I did, yeah, which there were multiple versions of this.
And This is what, 1985, 86?
85.
85.
Yeah.
So the 85, 86 season.
And the main one is just really just a bunch of clips.
Yeah.
And sometimes edited together as if they're related.
Yeah.
Like the one that stands out is Jack Warden opening a shower curtain, then it cuts to Magnum in the shower.
Yeah.
Which the first time I saw it, I thought was the
Bobby Ewing. Yeah.
But the Kenny Rogers part does make it pretty cool.
Yeah. So
it's been a long time since I listened to any Kenny Rogers, but I think of his voice as being kind of gruff, but there's like a velvety aspect to it. Almost smooth, like gravy for fried chicken or something.
Roasted chicken?
Yeah, roasted chicken.
Yeah.
That's how they advertise their gravy.
Yeah.
To make sure you knew it wasn't lumpy. As smooth as Kenny's voice.
Yeah. Kenny Rogers in that hot buttered country that we all know and love. Yeah, well, for our younger audience, they might not realize, again, this is something that's probably come up before, but Kenny Rogers was huge. Like, I don't think this was his peak, but in the early 80s, Kenny Rogers was as big as anybody in music, right?
I think
he was a big crossover superstar.
Yeah, around this time, he was probably still doing, like, regular specials, maybe on CBS.
Yeah, so it was like a pretty big deal to have Kenny Rogers be the voice of your promotional campaign.
Yeah.
It would be a big deal.
Yeah. So this song is kind of odd.
After all that, this song is kind of odd.
Yeah. It has some pronoun issue pronoun issues.
Okay.
Like, we'll see. So, you've touched us in a way that we can feel.
Okay.
Yeah. You've touched us, and now our dreams are real. You made us see ourselves in you. You're part of everything we do. Okay. It's all here on CBS. So it seems like you is CBS.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that makes it wouldn't be talking about you wouldn't be the audience. That wouldn't really make sense.
No.
At least it's certainly not the beginning there.
Because, the audience isn't making CBS's dreams real.
No, I don't think so. Unless by turning out in droves to watch Simon and Simon, they're doing that.
Right. So it's all here on CBS, and CBS is you. So now the you is the audience.
Oh gosh.
CBS and you've got the touch.
CBS and you've got the touch.
Yes. CBS and you. Together we're the best. We've got the touch on CBS.
Okay.
Which is the...
We've got the touch is basically the slogan, yeah.
And then it goes back, you've touched us with your laughter and your tears. Mm-hmm. You've touched us with the friends we've loved for years. Friendship thing again.
Yeah.
You've shown us how to take a chance, find adventure, find romance. And then it repeats the chorus,
that's
all the got the touch thing.
That's referring to CBS.
Yeah.
CBS is you, unless CBS was market testing every single show, came out of a focus group, which we know that's not the case.
Right. Then there's a bridge coming your way, bringing the friends you've got to see. Again, this is his audience. Mm-hmm. Bright new day, full of surprise and mystery. Feeling all right, making those magic moments last. Stars in the night, taking you through the looking glass.
Taking you through the looking glass. Yes. Okay, that's a bit of a reach.
CBS and America, making dreams come true.
Oh gosh.
Together we're the best. We've got the touch on CBS. My notes on this: lots of kissing. Mm-hmm. The Jack Warden shower thing, and then I wrote down every show, everything, and I only did this for this one.
Okay.
I got too caught up with transcribing lyrics.
It would be folly to
Airwolf.
Airwolf, yeah.
Magnum P.I. Knots Landing, Dallas, Murder, She Wrote, Crazy Like a Fox, Kate and Alley, Cagney and Lacey, Scarecrow and Mrs. King, Falcon Crest, Trapper John M.D., Newhart, The Peanuts, Garfield, Stir Crazy the Show?
Yeah, that one didn't last very long.
George Burns' Comedy Week.
That one didn't last at all.
Something called
Anthology Show.
Hometown. Charlie and Company.
Oh, the Flip Wilson Cosby Show ripoff.
Yeah. The Equalizer, The New Twilight Zone. Simon and Simon, and then a bunch of movies, including Blade Runner, Fletch, Airplane 2, Rocky 2 or 3, I don't know. Or even 4, not 4.
I don't think it would have been 4.
But he did have the American Pants.
That could have been Rocky 3. I think he had those when he took on Clubber Lang, maybe.
Yeah, and I think Risky Business.
Yeah.
And then also the NFL, NBA, Dan Rather, tennis, and Looney Tunes.
I like the fact that they integrated cartoons into this one.
Yeah. Or at least one shot of Sylvester.
Yeah. Well, the fact they had Garfield and Peanuts too. You know.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because Charlie Brown was a big staple of CBS for years, so that's cool.
Yeah. And then, so on this clip, there's also a cut down, and then there are these other ones that involve like people having CBS based fantasies. Yeah. So the first one, there's a boy, a teenage boy and girl on the front porch of an idyllic house.
Yeah.
It's at the just past sunset maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy says goodnight and leaves. He doesn't kiss the girl, and then like kind of behind her on the wall, they project this fantasies of romantic things you would see on CBS, like that any teenager would be watching, like Scarecrow and Mrs. King getting married.
That's right.
And then the guy returns and kisses her.
Right.
And this had some lyrics specific to it. Imagine the way it's going to be. Imagine the perfect fantasy. The feeling that you just can't resist. That moment you won't want to miss. It's all here on CBS because CBS is you. We've got the touch on CBS.
Yeah, I interpreted it kind of like it was supposed to be like instructional, like the idea that like these teenagers were getting their direct cues from like the ideas that CBS will teach you how to be great romanticists or
like the kid was walking and glanced in the window and saw some CBS TV.
Right.
Oh, right, I'm supposed to kiss her.
That's right, yeah. That's how I interpreted it.
And by the way, all of these have at the beginning, like, We've Got the Touch, sung by Kenny Rogers, like the music video graphic.
Oh, yeah, they made sure to give him his credit.
Yeah. Because in the long one, he briefly appears in a shot. The next one is like a group of teenage dudes just hanging on a corner.
Yeah. The messaging is really getting vague at this point. Yeah. It's not on point.
And again, like the wall starts showing CBS clips.
Yeah.
I guess it's like Magnum and people being cool.
I think that's what it was. Like, I was interpreting that part as like, this is, well, the first was like a female demographic, and these are like the demographic ones. Yeah. This is like it's hard to say with a straight face with CBS, but like the young male demographic.
Imagine the way you want to feel. Imagine a place where dreams are real. A place where you can take a chance, find adventure, find romance. Mm-hmm. It's all here on CBS because CBS is you. We've got the touch on CBS.
See, even that sounds like something like Perry Como could have sang. I don't really see it.
And at the end, they're like the guys and I think some girls drive off in like a red like Cadillac convertible or something. Yeah.
I mean, Magnum was cool.
Yeah.
But is there ever like a bigger disconnect than even like 1986 CBS and Risky Business?
Yeah.
I mean, that didn't seem like on the CBS Wednesday night movie, Tom Cruise is getting in risky business with Rebecca De Mornay.
Yeah, CBS is like the opposite of just that phrase.
Yeah, it's not risky business at all. That's right.
Safe business.
Maybe The Sure Thing. They could have shown that with John Cusack.
The next one involves a wallflower guy, like a cooling 80s dance party. And this woman kind of sees him across the room. I think at the end maybe they get together. I don't actually remember. Imagine a place you'd rather be. Pretty funny, actually. If your life sucks, watch CBS.
CBS, the network for shut-ins, losers, and loners.
Imagine a place where you feel free. They should have done it, said it in a jail.
Right. They could have tied it with Stir Crazy.
Yeah. A place where you can break away, take your chances, come what may. It's all here on CBS because CBS is you. CBS and you've got the touch. Together we're the best. We've got the touch on CBS.
Yeah. I like the effort to bring the viewer in and make it a collaborative experience, but it's just, I'm just not buying this.
Yeah. So there's another one of the just clips and the lyrics from the one with the teenage dudes, I think. And then there's another one with clips with these lyrics. We've got it. Fun and fantasy. We've got it. Surprise and mystery. We've got the games people play to entertain you night and day. CBS and you've got the touch. CBS and you. Together we're the best. Mm-hmm. We've got the touch on CBS. And there's one also with a woman like at a kind of small town train station. The lyrics are from another one of either the teenage dudes or the teenage woman, I forget, or girl, I forget. But and That's it for CBS.
Yeah, and it was it for CBS. I mean, CBS was, by this point, I believe NBC had surpassed them. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of see, like, in a lot of the shows that you're mentioning here, they were kind of long in the tooth. They weren't at their peak. The fact that, Charlie and Company, like we said, that they were chasing the Cosby Show train, which NBC was riding Cosby to number one, and CBS was kind of resorted to trying to come up with a fresh new sitcom, and they did it by doing a ripoff of the Cosby Show.
Yeah,
which failed with Flip Wilson and Gladys Knight.
Yeah. I did watch that show, though. I don't remember anything about it. But
did you feel that you were the best, you and CBS?
No.
Was it a place you'd rather be?
Probably if the other place was doing homework.
Fair enough.
And think about, like, from that list I read, I think there are only like 3 sitcoms.
Kate and Allie, Newhart.
Oh, 4. Okay. Kate and Allie, Newhart, Charlie and Company, and Stir Crazy.
Yeah.
And then George Burns Comedy Week.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, I guess in fairness, people were probably ridiculously lamenting the demise of the sitcom until Cosby Show came back.
That's true.
So I think it was sitcoms had maybe gone down a little bit generally at the time, but CBS seems that seems particularly weak, even so.
And then it's either nighttime soaps or cop detective adventure shows. And
almost everything skewing towards an older demographic. As much as we joke about it, I mean, what on that list is going to be appeal to
Airwolf,
like younger people? Yeah, yeah. And I think you're right.
Cagney and Lacey.
Even the even the Equalizer is like an action show, but with an old guy as the protagonist.
Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, and at the time, NBC's got Miami Vice.
Right.
NBC's got, Riptide. NBC's got the Golden Girls. Okay, bad example, but but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, they got Family Ties, Cheers, which had been on a while, but still.
Right.
Night Court.
Hill Street. St. Elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, growing up, and this is, again, just NBC just looked like the fresher network to me.
Yeah.
And CBS at this point, and also, I will say, like, we looked at some numerous promos for all the networks, and some of these I remembered. The other one we're going to focus on, I remember that big time. Mm-hmm. The ABC stuff, I remember some of that, and there's some other ones in there. CBS, I didn't remember hardly anything as I was going through looking for, just out of curiosity, what were some of the other big campaigns. Nothing really stood out except there's one that stood out for how embarrassing it is. Kind of at the edge of our era. You know what I'm going to... I think 1989, 1990-ish, I'm guessing. I think they did Get Ready, to the Get Ready by the Temptations, and they made that their... And they had a bunch of CBS stars dancing and really embarrassing themselves and kind of singing along. I think that was around the time Murphy Brown was involved in that probably too.
Probably.
So,
yeah. Wasn't she big into Motown?
Yeah. Just you'd have the Designing Women cast and Murphy Brown cast, and it's just it's kind of embarrassing. I think
it didn't scream young and sophisticated to you.
No, it didn't.
So let's move on to NBC. And I believe these were from a couple different years, right?
Yeah, I think this campaign was also for 3 years, if not more, with some variations in there. But
so this is the Let's All Be There.
Yeah, it started out with Be There, and then became Let's All Be There.
Right, that's right.
An important distinction to make for everybody. I'm glad I jumped in with that one.
Yeah. So the first one is mostly just there's a band and you see them tuning up, and then kind of sometimes you see them playing, and a bunch of clips, and then I think some shots of individual actors.
Yeah.
Because there's a weird clapping thing. So these lyrics are: you can be anything you want to be there. You can see anything you want to see there. Mm-hmm. There's excitement in the air for you and me there. You'll feel free there. You can NBC there.
Very clever.
But you've got to be there.
Yeah. You can NBC.
So already they're putting there is a condition on this, but they're putting the condition on it.
Right.
They're stating it right out. You're not going to have fun, NBC type of fun, unless you're at NBC.
Yeah. It's a fair enough proposition, but yeah.
Yeah, you've just got to be there. You'll feel free there. We've heard that idea before.
Mm-hmm.
Be what you want to be. See what you want to see. You can NBC there. NBC, be there. Mm. And you can NBC, be there.
Yes.
Or sometimes just or Bruce White's, be there.
Yeah. Or Michael Lannon, be there.
Look around, everything will look so new there.
Mhm.
You can do anything you want to do there, within the limits of standards and practice.
Of course, yes.
There's excitement in the air for you and me there. Dreams can come true there, in red, white, and blue there.
They had to get a pandering Americana reference.
Which I didn't. It took till a different version before like that line wasn't clear.
That's good. Yeah, I don't think I've caught that before. That I mean,
Yeah.
ABC was pretty much the Olympic network too, so that was really kind of gratuitous, I think. But
Yeah. And then it just kind of goes into lots of versions of Be There and
Yeah.
all that. But there's a thing where like there's like sort of a breakdown and people clapping and there's like a rapid fire shots of various stars doing the clapping.
Yeah.
It's kind of like today it would probably get a strobe warning. It's a little intense.
Right.
Whistle blowing and stuff. It's interesting.
It's not as sophisticated lyrically.
No.
But it's direct.
Yeah.
And it's a lot clearer to me than that Through the Looking Glass stuff that Kenny Rogers was pushing on CBS.
But it's kind of hitting the same ideas.
It is,
the
yeah.
Fantasy idea.
Yeah. Freedom,
yeah.
And working with NBC to reach this, dream state.
In the 70s, ABC, it was all about friendship and family.
Mhm.
In the 80s, it's about individual freedom.
That's right. Liberation from the shackles of previous constraints.
Yes.
Yes, very well said.
There was one, a version of it that had like late night clips in it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that was the slightly weird thing during the clapping thing. They were showing various clips of people like clapping or high-fiving, and there's like I don't know, I didn't recognize what show it was from, but of like two actors portraying Nazis high-fiving. Also, Larry Bud Melman like smashing a dummy against a windshield.
Yeah. Well, if there's one thing NBC dominated in the 80s, it was late night television, right? With Carson, Letterman.
It was cool. They had Carson, Letterman, SNL, and Friday Night Videos.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, a lot of clips of music videos, which is kind of interesting. Like, I mean, we remember the show Friday Night Videos, but do you associate, Billy Joel smoking a cigarette with NBC in the 80s?
No.
It's kind of like, again, I forgot to mention, it was a little disingenuous. Those ABC ads, they would put like, stars like Burt Reynolds or something, and Ernie Anderson was rattling off the stars like, yeah, Burt Reynolds, but he's not in a show. They're going to show one of his movies like one night in September or something.
And the CBS one did that too.
Yeah, sprinkling in all these like big stars to make it seem like they're part of the ABC family.
Yeah,
and that's a little shady. The more I think about it, I don't like that.
Yeah. So the next one, which I guess is the Let's All Be There. So I don't know if it's from '84. This is the one with like regular people in kind of different locations watching the same TV shows.
Yeah.
There's somebody in an army barracks, and there's like some middle-aged guys who call their brothers, and they call each other and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I like. I mean, notwithstanding my comments about the coast and everything, is you can see like the effort to get like different demographic groups represented in these shots, which I always get a kick out of. To make it seem like everybody, and they were trying to broadcast everybody. They weren't doing these narrow casting and trying to get certain things,
and all this stuff's kind of a little bit stylized too.
Yeah,
like the sets and the.
And while I'm at it, if you'll allow me, going back to ABC, Still the One. This is another reason television was better back then. They weren't like Still the One in 18 to 49-year-old demographics. They were still the one, period. They were just looking at the ratings. They were looking at viewers, baby.
Yeah.
The total number of viewers, that was it. That was number one.
And when you all those people going to the picnic are every age and every ethnicity, or at least a few ethnicities and genders, and
they weren't bragging about how look at all these young people we got to this picnic. They were like, let's bring everybody in, and that counts. Yeah, like
they should have had that line, from like instead of from LA to New York, like from toddlers to grandparent to grandma.
The thing is, too, I bet ABC probably would have been, I think they probably were number one in the demographic back then, but they meant number one across the board. They just meant number one, period. Number one in the Nielsen ratings. So that's another reason TV was better. Not this endless obsession with demographics.
I think that's a good segue, because the lyrics to this version are a little bit more nostalgic.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you remember when the sound of your own laughter made you long for someone so far away?
Wow. That's heavy.
And were there moments that you wished you could share a smile with someone that you don't see every day? Tune in together, man and woman, boy and girl, Tune in together. We're connected to the world. The world on NBC. Let's all be there. People come together in the moments that they share on NBC. Let's all be there. That special program when the stars are shining brighter, that will make you laugh and sing your favorite song. That scary movie when you hold each other tighter.
Oh.
You made jokes, but said leave the nightlight on. I didn't get that line. I don't know if that's right. Tune in together. We discover who we are. Tune in together. It's a smaller world by far. And then the chorus repeats.
It's very nice, but one thing I don't like about that is I was desperately hoping that you were going to rhyme tighter and brighter with Knight Rider somehow.
Oh, that would have been cool.
And they could have slipped that in.
They really could have.
But it's pretty moving.
Yeah.
And one thing I was thinking of is, again, kind of talking about, as fresh as NBC seemed, they still had Johnny Carson and they had their share of old guys.
Right.
Dick Clark and Ed McMahon.
Yes.
Bob Hope was still,
Yeah.
Being on NBC several times a year. So the Golden Girls, as we mentioned.
Yeah. I remember George Burns being on NBC too. So it seemed odd, that CBS thing, but
yeah. A lot of comedy specials. He would do those like every year, I think. Yeah. It's a little bit more wistful, almost, that version.
Yeah. And kind of pushing that idea. TV is a thing that brings people together. It doesn't keep them apart. I mean, sometimes it does, but But you can, listen. Here we are talking about TV with each other and with the audience out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fair to say that together, you, me, and the audience, we're number one. We're the best.
We're the best podcast called Battle of the Network Shows.
Yes, that's indisputable.
And then in 1985-86 season, they did a new version. Hey there, friend. Do you miss the excitement when each day and each night meant something different and new? And a special place where the characters hold you as the stories unfold to make a magical view. It's somewhere where the best is happening, night and day. Somewhere where the laughs are shaking the blues away. Movies filled with stars dramatical. Sports enough for fans fanatical. I can't make it too emphatical. Good things happen on NBC. Let's all be there. It must be NBC. Let's all be there. People come together in the moments that they share on NBC. Let's all be there. There's no better place to be part of what's happening.
Wait a minute, what's happening? That was an ABC show. Sorry.
I know. Well, this is going to get weird. There's no better place to be part of what's happening, at the heart of what's happening with the people you love. There's no better time because our quality's showing. Our momentum is growing. With limit above, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. With no limit above, maybe?
That would work.
You will find us entertaining you more and more. Everyone you know is going to be watching us more. News and documentaries that chronicle. Comics with their barbs ironical.
I love that one. That's probably my favorite.
Lovers are just friends, platonical. Which...
Wait a minute.
The clip under this, the lovers part, shows Norm and Cliff hugging.
Really?
And then, or just friends platonical, and that shows Sam and Diane shaking hands.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. That's good observation.
Everything happens on NBC, etc. Be there for laughter or heroes chasing after bad guys who stack the deck to win. Let's all be there. Be there for passion or hearts that go crashing, where angels and fools rush on in. Let's all be there. Be there for action, for, I think, comic satisfaction, for moments that you'll treasure, that you'll keep forever. And then let's all be there and all that. And I don't remember the visuals much in that, except for that one.
Yeah.
Did this have the people with the weird shiny white hats?
Yes, I think that was in this part.
Is that in this one? Yeah. I know the family, the Facts of Life girls were now in their big hair phase.
Yeah. Right.
And Mark Harmon was in there somewhere.
Oh yeah. Well, they put a lot of effort into this one.
Yeah.
I believe that singing this version, I think I didn't really know the guy's name, but I think it's Jake Holmes, who was a big jingle writer, and I think did the Dr. Pepper jingle.
Ah, wrote it or wrote it or performed it?
Both, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think, and anyways, that's a name to kind of look up. I think that's him doing it, and his voice. As soon as you hear that, you'll recognize the voice because he did a lot of just stuff, and I think like kind of network imaging stuff and jingles and ads and things like that. But I don't know. I just found it interesting because I always wondered who that voice was. I never knew that the name of this person until I looked it up. I'm pretty sure that's who was singing this. So, but he was a big professional songwriter. So they put a lot of effort into this.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty fast. The one you just read,
Yes.
it goes pretty fast. There's a lot going on in that.
Especially when it hits those like fanatical and or the ironical and that.
Yeah, maybe they don't want you to pour over those ones too too closely. But
These
you did
are-
yeoman's work transcribing those.
These are real words. But
Yeah.
and then finally we watched a clip that was not specifically one of these promos, but is right. It's from some NBC All-Star Night or something.
Yeah, they would do these like as a fall preview kind of thing, I think.
And so you get a whole bunch of NBC stars on stage together singing basically just the chorus to that, the Let's All Be There.
Right.
Over and over.
Yeah, and clapping
Yes.
rhythmically.
And some of them getting solos or you get little groupings together.
Mm-hmm.
It does start with a little sweet moment between George Peppard and Rudy from The Cosby Show.
Yes, showing NBC's ability to reach across several generations
Yes.
and bring them together.
And he's explaining TV to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you get the song, and I did try to track who's... So Nell Carter gets the first big solo.
Yeah, Nell Carter was kind of the voice of NBC at this point, it seems like.
Yeah.
She was like their big star for things like this.
Yeah, and of course, it had been on Broadway. And
Oh, yeah.
that.
And being a force of nature.
And yet, I hope she was mad about this.
Oh, yeah?
So
Why?
she sings her line, and then Joey Lawrence from Give Me a Break follows up, and he totally tries to showboat her.
He does.
Bigfoot her.
Yep. You're exactly right. Yep. He's like really hamming it up, and
Yeah.
it's not just his sing, but his facial expressions.
Yeah, his hair flopping around.
Yeah. Lack of class.
Judy and Blair from Facts of Life
Mm-hmm.
sing a little bit. Some of the Hill Street people sing.
Is that Robert Prosky was in there?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. And
He was on the show at that point. Betty Thomas is there, I
Betty
think.
Thomas and I'm forgetting his name now, but
Renee Enriquez?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
I'm
the
trying to
three
remember,
that
like,
are.
I'm not sure how prominent they're singing,
No.
but they're there.
And the Golden Girls sing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure all of them can sing.
No, but
I know B. Arthur was
yeah.
had a reputation, but
yeah, all four of them are there, right? Too, right?
Yeah. It's a little hard to see because Estelle Getty's not in costume,
Yeah.
so she's harder to see.
Right.
And then I meant to write it down. Oh yeah, Charlotte Rae is standing like right by them,
Oh,
and
wow.
I started imagining, what if she had been a Golden Girl?
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, I'm surprised you could hear any of the Golden Girls over Charlotte Rae
Yeah.
singing.
Well, she's just smiling
Yeah.
because it's not her turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, she would have been a great Golden Girl. Which one would you like to have seen her as? Dorothy or Blanche or Rose?
Another one.
Hmm.
Rose. That kind of seems the most obvious choice, I think,
Yeah.
that she could play. Sort of.
I would like to see her as Blanche.
Yeah, I think so.
That'd be great.
Really put some
Yeah.
extra sauce on
Yeah,
those
she
lines.
could do a suggestive line reading for
Yeah.
sure. As we know. As we well
yes.
know from the Pussycat Lounge.
And like Punky Brewster and some other kids.
Yeah, I think there's some kids from Punky Brewster, at least
Yeah,
one.
there's some girl there who's really, really hamming it up.
Yeah, I think. Punky is herself too.
She is a little bit.
She's
but
like really getting into it, maybe.
compared to her. This
Yeah.
other girl, she's restrained.
Yeah.
This other girl's like, just I think being a kid, but
George Gaines should have, disciplined her and made sure that she, stayed with the program.
Tracy.
That's all it would have taken.
It's like the old guy, isn't he, from Give Me a Break?
Oh, the grandpa,
Yeah.
John Hoyt, yes, who gets like the one, maybe the biggest spotlight line in the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Like everything happens on.
That's right.
Yeah, it's just like, and it's isolated. He gets like that one little moment for no apparent reason. It's not like Give Me a Break was like the crown jewel of NBC at this point.
No.
And Grandpa wasn't even the crown jewel of that show. I mean, maybe he was just like, oh, he's a nice guy. He's been around a while. He's, accomplished, give him this line. But that seemed a little odd.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather heard like Edward James Olmos do that? Or
Let's all be there. The Night Court Gang, we see some of them.
Yeah.
The Hoff. On
Yeah.
his own.
Yeah, the Hoff.
He's really into it.
Yeah, he seems to be enjoying himself, which I love about this, that everybody seems to be in a good mood.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if they plied them with anything.
I'm not going to speculate.
The Miami Vice gang brought a special, some props, some cheers, people. 227.
Yeah, 227. I think was a new show probably at this time.
Yeah.
And, at first, I think Hal Williams, the dad on it, he seemed like he'd rather be anywhere else. But then later they cut to them again, and he seems to be singing along. So,
and then it ends with the Miami Vice folks,
yeah.
or the last of the spotlights, and then it keeps going. But.
Yeah, and I think everybody from Miami Vice was there, right? Because I couldn't see Switek at first, but then later you see him.
Yeah, there's a wider shot.
Yeah. Like Miami Vice probably had one of the best as far as like the ratio. They probably maybe they might have had like the biggest percentage of the main cast members there.
Yeah, and most importantly, Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas are in costume.
Yes, that is great.
Other people are wearing tuxes and things. And you also get some like a voiceover promoting what's coming on next.
Right. And I think it involves, isn't there a Bob Hope special?
There's definitely a Bob. I think the Bob Hope special is coming up the next day.
No.
Bob Hope buys NBC.
Oh yeah, Bob Hope buys NBC.
And I forget what was coming up next.
But. Bob Hope's getting a bargain, whatever he's paying, because if you look at all the star power assembled on stage,
exactly,
and how cohesive they are.
Yeah.
You know, they got a pretty tight ensemble singing. Let's all be there.
So. Maybe we should wrap this up by choosing a winner.
A winner of
which campaign?
Within the promos or the overall campaign?
The overall campaigns. Which of the campaigns?
Well, would you like me to go because I have a clear winner in mind? Yeah, it's NBC. Let's all be there.
Oh,
maybe I'm biased by the fact that this was kind of in the at the time I was watching and this is the campaign I remember most vividly. But pretty much since we decided to do this episode, I've been singing that song. I can't get it out of my head.
That's a good point.
There's something, really almost evil about it, the way it's in my head. It's effective, and they hammer this home. We sort of mentioned that, they have the little short promos where you'd be like, coming up, on the A-Team or something, they have one of the stars like on, be there,
Be there.
Yeah. It was all orchestrated. It was a coherent campaign. It was memorable. The slogan is easy, let's all be there. It's simple. It's effective. For me, that's the winner.
Okay.
As a campaign,
I was leaning ABC.
Okay.
Like I think the balloons and all the visuals of that I really enjoyed.
Mm.
And again, having all the celebrities just engage with people and stuff. But you got a good point, and the fact that they used an existing song.
Yeah.
It's a little annoying.
Yeah. I must say
CBS to me is a clear bronze medalist here.
Right. I mean, I'm tempted to put PBS over them, and I don't even know what they were doing at the time. Like, PBS, send us your pledges.
Yeah.
Mark Russell could have done it.
Right. He would have also used an existing song.
Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, CBS is clearly number 3. I have a big bias. I like seeing celebrities go up in hot air balloons, but I think even more I like seeing celebrities singing and sort of dancing or clapping at least.
Yeah.
So that to me, that clip that we saw really kind of maybe put that one over the top for me, I gotta say.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Okay, but I do love that.
Yeah, we don't need to get into deep baddies.
No, not right.
Determining here.
Yeah. I do. You don't think we need a random number generator to pick the winner?
No.
I think it's telling that we're kind of a little bit confused by, it wasn't like ABC were reaching new heights. I mean, maybe some of that was in the song, but it was like we're still the one, but yet they're all going up in these hot air balloons. And It's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
And, a little unsettling in some cases. So, to me, NBC kept it a little bit more simple, just straightforward, like hammering home that message and getting the cast of Miami Vice together to sing. To me, that all made it number 1 for me. So ABC was not still the one. No. NBC was clearly number 1 at this time.
Yeah, and we were supposed to all be there.
Yeah,
which we both were a lot. Yeah,
I was there quite a bit. I do think it was a little disingenuous to put like Michael Jackson in your commercials, even though if you're just playing like Thriller like every now and then, or
right. Yeah,
and at some point I don't even know if they were able to show but he wasn't one of those, wasn't he? They showed like a clip from a Michael Jackson video.
I think so because CBS had some sort of moonwalking gag. like where like Bob Newhart was moonwalking or something.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what that because there was a shot of feet moonwalking,
uh,
which wasn't. I mean, it was a different carpet, so it wasn't him. I don't know what that was.
well, wasn't there was a CBS one? I think it was one of these. It could have been another one where maybe this was just the spirit of CBS, where you just see like a lot of like odd crotch level shots of people just like for no reason, like just sort of moving across the camera or something, and it's like what is this? I mean, it wasn't salacious or anything, but
Right.
it was very muddled. CBS, yeah. I just don't think they were really trying. I think they just had this quaint notion that, well, we can just put out quality programs that people like, and that's enough. No.
Yeah.
You need catchy, memorable advertising campaign.
And Kenny Rogers is only going to take you so far.
You know, maybe if they had done that in 1982 or something like that.
What if they had gotten Kenny and Dolly?
Now you're talking.
Yeah. See, then, like, the lyrics that might have made sense if it were a duet.
Yeah.
One of them is the audience and one of them is CBS.
Right. They could be
singing to each other.
Yeah.
One of the CBS one dressed as the CBS giant eye logo.
Yeah.
So probably Kenny, because I don't know.
Yeah.
And costume might be
Kenny is
difficult.
known for his big features. It would be definitely more appropriate for him. And of course, in the early 80s, you would have, Vic Tayback and Alan Alda and stars like Sherman Helmsley.
Yeah.
It seems like we picked that's just a weird time for CBS.
Yeah. But it didn't seem like there were as many campaigns out there of theirs.
No, and maybe it's just a function of them not being on the internet as much, but I really don't remember any memorable, or I don't remember any of that CBS branding.
Yeah.
Except for, the ones that I didn't like. So, yeah, I think NBC emerges victorious here, as they did in the 1980s.
I think so.
ABC was number one as the 80s arrived.
That's right.
But as the 80s moved on, America was changing, and America was ready for NBC.
Yeah. On into the 90s.
The 90s? What? Was there TV in the 90s?
Well, I hear there was.
Oh, yeah.
Something called Seinfeld.
With the guy? You mean the guy on Benson?
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
he got his own show?
And one of the girls from Misfits of Science had a show.
Huh.
It was, I don't remember what it was called, but it was about a group of, like, friends.
Oh. Well, the friends that were, like, CBS and, like, how I was friends with ABC and CBS
A little bit,
and
yeah.
ABC.
Yeah. I mean, if you were hanging out in, like, a apartment with them.
That seems bizarre. Friends, like, they should be hanging out in, like, a workplace setting.
Oh, yeah.
Like in the Mary Tyler Moore Show or something.
Yeah.
Like, that I can identify with.
Not like in a coffee shop or an apartment.
No, I mean, maybe at a bar like the Regal Beagle or Cheers.
Yeah.
I could see that. But, coffee shop or an apartment. No, apartments are for, like, divorcees and their teenage daughters or something like that. Not for 20-something friends hanging out together.
Right.
The 90s. Give me a break.
I'm done. Trying to make a give me a break joke, but that's not one. Promos.
This episode brought to you by ABC, Still the One. This episode also brought to you by CBS, We've Got the Touch. This episode also brought to you by NBC, Let's All Be There. Join us next time for another exciting episode of Battle of the Network Shows. Learn more, leave feedback, and suggest future episodes at battleofthenetworkshows.com. Follow us on Twitter at BatNetShows and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/battleofthenetworkshows. Enter a fantastical world imagination and friendship and the Cubs. Fantastical. Fantastical. That's probably better than my Kenny Rogers, I'll say that. Enter the world of entertainment